Hello, Umut here. Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to do another art journal. I'm just sticking two pages together because my journal has quite thin pages. To make them sturdy, I'm sticking them with matte medium. I'm going to use this beautiful stamp by Stamp & Do's to create my background. It has very delicate, nice branches, and it has a sentiment on it, but I am covering it with my post-it tape. I'm using archival sepia ink to stamp my image, and I am going to stamp it around my page to create kind of a border consisting of branches. This is one of my favorite stamps actually. I also did 3 cards using this stamp only with different looks. I'm going to put the link down below for you to see if you want to have a look. Now I'm using my Faber-Castell big brush pen to do some stamping on defined branches. I'm only painting some of the branches to give some variation in color like normal trees would have. These big brush markers also are for stamping. They have Indian ink and when they dry they are permanent. I'm using walnut brown as a color, and as you saw it suddenly changed all the picture, giving some depth to it. I'm using a third color as well. This is cinnamon to do some lighter branches. I am simply just coloring some of the branches, nothing specific, nothing that I am planning for, but this whole thing gives a nicer look, more interesting and more natural. After I finish with this, I'm going to use some heavy gesso to do some texture work. I am applying it with my spatula randomly because I am trying to create a winter scene, and in my mind this is snow covering the branches, and I want to push all this stamping and the trees at the background as well, because it's supposed to be at the background covered with snow. This is how it looks. I'm going to leave it to dry, and after it dried it looks like this. So I'm going to continue all the other work now. I'm going to give color by glazing. I want it to be really subtle. I'm using very pale colors as well. I'm using my distress paints. You will see the colors I'm using on the screen. I'm using the glaze I'm using is by Paper Artsy. It's called frosting glaze. I'm not actually sure what frosting glaze does as opposed to others, so I'm going to try with you. I didn't use this before, and tell you if there is any difference. I am just mixing it with my paint and then coloring all my page. Then with a baby wipe I'm going to remove the color. This allows me to have a more subtle pale look than I would have only using acrylic paints. Then I'm using a shade of gray, doing the same process. So far I'm not seeing any difference between frosting glaze and the other glaze that I was using. And now I'm using a shade of lilac, mild lavender. And in the meantime, actually I read what was frosting glaze for. Actually it's supposed to be used on a shiny surface to give some frosting effects like glass or acetate, something like that. I wanted to tell you as well, as usual, me being me, I was lazy to read first, but then I said maybe I should have a look while I was doing this voiceover, and I learned it. At least now we know frosting glaze is supposed to be on a shiny surface like glass, not for a paper. I'm giving a little bit darkness around the edges of my page. You saw the colors I'm using for distress inks on the screen. And lastly I'm using a little bit vintage photo and ground espresso to darken the edges more and more. And finally I'm using black soot to give definition only around the edges with a little touch. My sentiment will contain snowflakes, so I took this paper out of my stash by bobbing. I'm going to cut from these beautiful snowflakes. They have glitter as well, so I really love them. I did some fussy cutting out of this paper and have some snowflakes with different sizes to put on my page. I also have these nice stickers from Little Bee. They are snowflakes with some bling on them. I'm going to place some of them in the middle of my snowflakes, and I'm going to place a couple on the page. Now I'm going to do the organization on the page where I want to have the snowflakes placed. After I decide for sure, I'm using my Nuvo glue pen to stick all my elements on the page. As you see, I'm only applying in the middle of the snowflakes to have a little bit of dimension with the snowflakes at the edges staying in the air. I have these beautiful delicate gold stickers that I took from my stash as well. Sometimes you buy things that you think you would use or not, you don't know, they are so specific. This was the time to use my gold stickers that I had for ages. These are foam stickers, so I really like them. And I also used another alphabet set from Marianne Designs, as you see. And my sentiment is, kindness is like snowflakes, it beautifies everything it covers. I really love the sentiment. I did some splashes with my white paint as well, and also doing some splashes with gold ink from Liquitex because my sentiment has gold stickers, so this brings the page together. As a final touch, I'm using two colors of Nuvo crystal drops to give some details to my page. This is the white one, it's opaque, and I'm just giving some doodling with these crystal drops around my snowflakes. I thought it might give a nice detail, and I will do the same with the blue one. When you use these, don't forget you shouldn't close your book, maybe even overnight, for them to dry properly, otherwise you will ruin it. And here is the page. I'm trying to catch the light for you to see the gold splashes and details. I really like it. It's very simple and elegant, not full of big focal points this time. You will find full list of supplies down below at the description area or in my blog as usual. You will also find close-up pictures in my blog. Sometimes the pictures show things more clearly, so I would encourage you to go to the blog and have a look. If you like my videos, please don't forget to give me thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. That's how I know you want me to do more. Thanks for watching and see you next time.